So hello and thank you for coming to this session. It's great to see all of you here again. My name is Brian Che and I'm the General Manager for Cloud Computing at Red Hat. I'm based out of Red Hat's Boston area office in the United States. So I spoke this morning about how Red Hat's overall strategy is around open hybrid cloud. And we believe very strongly that an open hybrid cloud is the cloud computing architecture of the future. And this is very important because Red Hat recognizes that as enterprises move towards the cloud, they need two things in particular. The first is that they need a very comprehensive set of cloud computing capabilities across infrastructure as a service, across platform as a service, and around software as a service or their applications and workloads. And Red Hat provides a complete software portfolio to help enterprises build all these capabilities end to end. But enterprises also need to achieve interoperability and portability across heterogeneous architectures as well, because no enterprise is going to standardize just on one vendor for all of their technologies. And so as we build cloud, even though we provide end-to-end capabilities, we also have interoperability and portability with Microsoft, with VMware, with Amazon, and so on. And so we want to make sure that as enterprises adopt cloud, that they can do so in a way that takes advantage of the greatest technologies from open source, but also can incorporate it into the rest of their IT architecture. Now, OpenStack is one of the foundational technologies at the heart of our open hybrid cloud strategy. And Red Hat first got involved in the OpenStack project in an official capacity a little more than 2 years ago. And over the last 2 years, OpenStack itself has grown tremendously, as has Red Hat's strategic investment and involvement in the OpenStack project. For example, Red Hat was a founding member of the foundation that governs the OpenStack project, and we are the highest level sponsor at the platinum level. And recently, we have been increasing our investments across OpenStack. So today, I want to talk to you about 3 things that Red Hat is doing around OpenStack, and what is our strategic focus, both around OpenStack and around cloud computing in general. Now, the first thing that Red Hat is very much focused on with OpenStack and with cloud is making sure that we have a leadership position in the upstream open source community. Just as Red Hat is the leader in Linux, and just as Red Hat is the leader in JBoss, it's very important that we remain very involved in the upstream open source community around OpenStack. And I'm very pleased to share that once again, with the latest Havana release of OpenStack, Red Hat is once again the #1 contributor to the OpenStack project. Now, of the top engineers working on OpenStack, Red Hat employs 9 out of the top 25, including the #1 contributor to OpenStack. And our engineers are focused across the board in the open source project. Our engineers are working on every single project within the core set of capabilities in OpenStack, doing everything from hardening it, stabilizing it, bringing security features, and so on. But we are also at the vanguard of bringing net new functionality into OpenStack. And so we have been driving the feature functionality of brand new initiatives in OpenStack as well. For example, Heat is a new project for how you do application templating and provisioning, and Red Hat is a leader in that initiative. On the other end of the spectrum, Red Hat just recently contributed a very large code contribution around a set of management tools, which is the Tuskar project that you see at the bottom. And in between, we are working on all different layers of the open source project within OpenStack. And this is important because only by participating and driving leadership in the open source community can we affect the technology direction of OpenStack on behalf of our customers and on behalf of our partners. When our customers come to Red Hat with a feature request, or when they ask for a roadmap in terms of how they can work with us, because we are the leaders in the open source community, we have the ability to drive the direction of what we want to accomplish strategically on behalf of our customers, on behalf of our partners, and on behalf of our overall cloud strategy and approach. So it's very important to Red Hat that we are one of the strong leaders in the open source community in OpenStack, and we're very proud of the fact that since we joined, we have taken that position. So that's the first thing that we are strategically focused on with OpenStack. How do we work in the open source community to drive all the new innovation that is happening in cloud? Now, the second thing that Red Hat is focused on is how do we bring an enterprise class product to different customers and users of the cloud so that they can deploy this in a meaningful way in their data centers. And earlier this year, we introduced our OpenStack-based product, which is the Red Hat Enterprise Linux OpenStack platform. Now, what this product does is several things. First of all, it integrates and builds on the foundation of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So all the 10 plus years of experience that Red Hat has put into hardening Linux, bringing enterprise life cycles to it, providing security updates and services and support around it, we are integrating those capabilities into our OpenStack product. But it doesn't stop just at our business and process capabilities. We have very deep technical integration between OpenStack and Red Hat Enterprise Linux as well. If you take a look at OpenStack, every single OpenStack product and distribution on the market has a very strong dependency on Linux in many, many fundamental ways. And this is because Linux provides the foundational technologies that enable many of the services in OpenStack. In fact, from Red Hat's strategic standpoint, we believe that the combination of Linux and the KVM hypervisor and the OpenStack framework provides the next generation compute platform as enterprises transition to cloud. And that is why our OpenStack product is not just a standalone OpenStack framework, but it deeply integrates the KVM hypervisor as well as the Linux operating system to bring an integrated platform for compute infrastructure. Some examples of why are we doing this. If you take a look at the networking stack in OpenStack, there's a project within OpenStack called Neutron, which provides many of the software-defined networking capabilities that OpenStack is trying to drive. Now, in order to enable these new networking features, we have been engineering quite a lot of new features into the Linux operating system and into the KVM hypervisor to enable the creation of these new capabilities in OpenStack. And so at Red Hat, our engineers are working in a continuous development stream, starting in Linux and ending in OpenStack and bringing that all together. And we do that across all areas of OpenStack. We do that on the storage mechanisms, from how you do performance tuning, for how you do security around the capabilities, for how you maintain the runtime environment for your guest environments. All of these capabilities depend upon integration between Linux and between OpenStack. And so our product integrates those into one platform into the market. And just as we have done with Red Hat Enterprise Linux, we are taking all the enterprise class capabilities that Red Hat brings to the market and applying them to this new version of the Red Hat Enterprise Linux OpenStack platform. So this is the second thing that we are strategically focused on at Red Hat around OpenStack. Not only how do we drive new feature functionality and capabilities in the upstream open source project, but then how do we deliver that as a packaged product which enterprises can consume with all the life cycles and support and hardening and productization that they expect from Red Hat as a vendor. Now, the third thing that Red Hat is doing strategically around OpenStack is building a very comprehensive cloud portfolio surrounding OpenStack. Because OpenStack, as an important technology as it is, does not provide all the capabilities necessary to build an end-to-end cloud. OpenStack provides a very important foundation, but there are many, many more capabilities that enterprises need as they make the transition towards a full-scale cloud. And so Red Hat has capabilities such as Red Hat Storage, which provides a scale-out software-defined storage capability that plugs into the OpenStack platform. I already mentioned how OpenStack integrates with our virtualization and Linux technologies. We also have another product called Red Hat CloudForms, which sits on top of OpenStack and brings enterprise-grade management features to the OpenStack platform. And then finally, as you take a look at enabling not just cloud infrastructure, but business applications and developers across your cloud, we have optimized our JBoss middleware and introduced our OpenShift platform as a service capabilities, which also integrate and run on top of OpenStack. And so everything from how you run services from an infrastructure standpoint on your bare metal servers, all the way to how you manage and operate your clouds, all the way to how you work with your developers around cloud, we have built out a very comprehensive software portfolio that helps you implement all the capabilities that you need with cloud, with OpenStack at the heart of it all. So those are the three fundamental strategic things that Red Hat is focusing on from an OpenStack standpoint. And now I'd like to share a couple more details around some of the things that Red Hat has recently announced around our overall OpenStack strategy. And the first thing that I'd like to share a little bit more detail around is our Red Hat CloudForms offering, which runs in conjunction with OpenStack. Now, there was a recent study by Gartner, the analyst firm, surveying enterprises and asking them, what is the biggest challenge and concern that you face as you make the transition towards adopting a private cloud? And by far, the number one challenge that enterprises cited was, how are we going to manage and operate our clouds? And this is the fundamental problem that CloudForms focuses on solving. CloudForms is a cloud management platform, and it provides two key capabilities as you move towards cloud implementations. The first is that CloudForms provides a very rich set of self-service catalog interfaces that you can run on top of your cloud. So for example, when you want to stand up a self-service portal or a catalog for your end users to come to your cloud, CloudForms is able to present that rich set of services. But it can also present that self-service catalog with a very rich and strong set of functionality. For example, if you want your users to go through an approval workflow before they get their resources, CloudForms can enable that. If you want to charge for your resources and offer chargeback in your cloud, we can expose that through the CloudForms self-service catalog. If you want to be able to orchestrate and automate different security profiles or permissions around what users can see and how they access their services across the cloud, CloudForms can enable that set of functionality through your self-service catalog as well. The other category of functionality that CloudForms provides is, how do I manage and how do I operate my cloud? So for example, CloudForms provides everything from capacity planning. We can hook into OpenStack and understand very deeply what is the monitoring and utilization across your cloud. What is the trending of your utilization over time? And how do we automate the capacity across your OpenStack cloud? We can do things such as automate policy. When you introduce self-service into your environment, and now you also want to add capabilities to automate policy, when these users run these kinds of workloads, they must be configured in such a way. They must run in certain environments. They can only be accessed by certain individuals, and so on. CloudForms has the ability to both define that policy and to enforce it on an ongoing basis. So we can automate all your IT processes as they run across your cloud. We provide quite a lot of information from a reporting standpoint. So everything from executive dashboards to deep introspection in what is running within the virtual machines. And so CloudForms provides a very, very rich set of capabilities to help you manage and operate your cloud once you deploy it in a test environment, a development environment, or all the way into production. Now, another aspect of CloudForms is that it works not only on Red Hat platforms, but it works across third-party environments as well. Remember, I spoke earlier that the Red Hat strategy is around an open hybrid cloud. And so we can manage not just Red Hat technology, but everything from VMware to Amazon with the exact same interface on top. So our self-service catalog can provision and broker services across a heterogeneous hybrid cloud environment. We can give you a single pane of glass from a management standpoint across all these different environments. So CloudForms focuses on solving that very big challenge that Gartner cited. How do I manage and how do I operate a cloud? Now, in the world of OpenStack, this becomes a very important and very foundational set of capabilities and set of technologies. Because as you start to deploy OpenStack into your environment, OpenStack provides a cloud infrastructure platform from a foundational standpoint. If you take a look at the core functionality that OpenStack provides, it offers services that look sort of like a public cloud: compute, network, and storage on demand in a scale-out fashion. And so this is what a lot of the core functionality within OpenStack provides. Some of you may be familiar with some of the technologies within OpenStack, such as Nova from a compute standpoint, or Neutron from a networking standpoint, or for Glance and Swift from a storage standpoint. These are all different capabilities that work together to give you that low-level foundation of how I do scale-out infrastructure as a service, with infrastructure being compute, network, and storage. And you cannot run a cloud without these things in a horizontally scalable way. And this is why OpenStack is such an important technology. However, if you just deploy OpenStack by itself, you do not present many of the higher level things that enterprises are looking to do once they put their clouds into production. And this is where CloudForms sitting on top of OpenStack completes the picture of what enterprises need from an end-to-end cloud capability. And so that self-service catalog that I spoke about. Yes, OpenStack has very basic self-service built in, but it does not have the ability to offer sophisticated policy, workflows, automation, and so on. And so CloudForms augments those capabilities in OpenStack to add the enterprise features that you need. CloudForms also has the ability to integrate your catalogs into other environments. And so many enterprises have standardized on enterprise service catalogs, such as ServiceNow, or maybe a third-party catalog from Cisco and other vendors. And what they need is the ability to offer self-service through that same interface, and CloudForms can help broker existing cloud services into these enterprise catalogs as well. CloudForms provides many of the management features so that as you deploy OpenStack, your administrators understand what is going on with my cloud. Is it running okay? Is my health all right? Is my usage okay over time? Who is doing what in my cloud? All this important information in terms of what goes on in your OpenStack environment is completed by the combination of CloudForms on top of OpenStack. And so a big strategic focus, as I mentioned before, is not only how do we invest in OpenStack as a foundational technology, but also how do we complete the picture around OpenStack so that as enterprises deploy a private or a hybrid cloud, they get everything in an end-to-end solution. For us, that means the combination of a cloud infrastructure platform, such as OpenStack, combined with a cloud management platform, CloudForms. On top of that, these two capabilities come together to give you an overall private cloud. Now, one of the challenges that enterprises face is they're very interested in OpenStack, but how are they actually going to integrate OpenStack into their environment? And this is another challenge that CloudForms can help enable. So we commissioned a study through a third-party agency about a month ago. And one of the results of this survey was that 84% of enterprises are planning to deploy OpenStack. That is a huge number of enterprises and a big sense in terms of why OpenStack has so much momentum in the industry today. But we also know that there are many other important vendors and technologies that exist in IT today. For example, the vast majority of enterprises have virtualized their infrastructure over the last several years with VMware's virtualization technology. And they're not just going to throw that technology away as they introduce OpenStack. The question is, as I deploy OpenStack, what do I do with my existing VMware technology as I bring OpenStack in? Many enterprises have already started adopting the public cloud, vendors such as Amazon and so on. And a big question for them is, as I bring OpenStack into my environment, am I going to have different release processes, different interfaces, different tools for how users go to Amazon or any other public cloud versus how they interface with my OpenStack-based private cloud? And so a big challenge as interested as enterprises are in OpenStack is, how do I bring OpenStack into my enterprise and my existing IT infrastructure? And this is another huge benefit that we've been focusing on with our CloudForms product, which is it enables the integration of OpenStack into existing IT. And this depends upon the fact, again, that CloudForms is able to provide unified management and unified consumption interfaces across the diversity of infrastructure. For example, we have many customers that we have been working with who have already deployed VMware, and now they are standing up OpenStack net new side by side with their existing VMware infrastructure. So they're not throwing away their VMware. But what they are doing is now that they have OpenStack sitting side by side with VMware, they put CloudForms on top of both those kinds of infrastructure. Now their end users can go to one self-service catalog, and CloudForms will broker the request and determine, should this request go to VMware or should this request go to OpenStack? When people manage their infrastructure and their environments, they can go to one management tool and have information reported on from both VMware and from OpenStack. And they can create the same policies that go across the two environments. They only have to define their security policies in one place. They only have to define their user groups and permissions in one place. They only have to go ahead and determine their billing mechanisms and chargeback mechanisms in one place, even though it's different infrastructures underneath. And we all know that OpenStack is still a new technology. And so what you will often find is, VMware is a very large footprint, and maybe you start with a smaller OpenStack footprint. But over the years, you will start to grow your usage of OpenStack and cloud, and maybe you'll start to shrink your usage of traditional virtualization. But that is okay, because for the end users, they still interface with the same catalog, and your administrators still use the same management tool. And so we allow that dynamic growing and shrinking and flexing of your environment under the same tools. And the same thing is true of our own virtualization management technologies, Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization, as well as Amazon's public cloud. So the other big challenge that CloudForms solves for enterprises is not only how do I manage OpenStack, but how do I integrate OpenStack into my existing environment. Now for enterprises who are interested in building out an end-to-end cloud, we not only have the Red Hat Enterprise Linux OpenStack platform product that I spoke about, but we also have a product called Red Hat Cloud Infrastructure. And this integrates and bundles together CloudForms with our OpenStack product and our virtualization technologies. And so with one offering from Red Hat, we give you everything that you need to build and to manage and to operate your private or your hybrid clouds. And so this is strategically how we are bringing OpenStack into the market. By working in upstream open source, by creating that foundational product around cloud infrastructure, and then integrating it with CloudForms so we bring management capabilities and can help you integrate OpenStack into your existing environments. Now I'd like to talk about another challenge that we are focused on solving with OpenStack, and that is, how do I understand what workloads I can bring to OpenStack and where I can actually deploy OpenStack? And this is the reason why Red Hat has built out a certification program for our Red Hat Enterprise Linux OpenStack platform. Just as we have a certification and a partner program for Linux, we have built a new set of capabilities for OpenStack. And this is hugely important because as enterprises deploy OpenStack, they need to have the confidence that I can run it on supported hardware, that I can plug in third-party tools, everything from management systems to running big data workloads to platform as a service capabilities and beyond. They need to know that they can go to their service integrator of choice, and that service integrator will be enabled to work with Red Hat technologies as they deploy OpenStack into their environment. So earlier this June, Red Hat launched our first OpenStack certification program, and I'm very pleased to share that this is now the world's largest OpenStack ecosystem. We have built around the Red Hat OpenStack product a very, very large set of capabilities in a very short amount of time. For example, since we launched the program back in June, we now have over 140 companies across the technology industry certifying their capabilities onto Red Hat's OpenStack product. We have over 900 OpenStack-specific solutions that have been certified to our OpenStack product. We have been working with our service integrator partners who have now led hundreds of proof of concept deployments on-site within our customers. And we have had thousands of downloads of our OpenStack-based software as people start to pilot this in their environments. And so in a very short amount of time, we've built out a very, very large ecosystem set of capabilities. But it doesn't just stop at the net new OpenStack capabilities. Remember that one of the things that I mentioned was that we are building our OpenStack product on the foundation of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And as a result of that, we are also using and leveraging our Linux existing certification capabilities to extend into our OpenStack-based product. Because our OpenStack product integrates with Red Hat Enterprise Linux as one cohesive platform, we are now certified already on thousands of different hardware systems across your IT industry. And these are all from your favorite OEM vendors, whether you're working with HP or IBM or Cisco or Dell or Supermicro or some other vendor. Their systems are all certified to support our OpenStack product. Same thing from what are the guest workloads that you are going to run in your OpenStack environment. We have thousands and thousands of applications certified to run as guest workloads on our OpenStack product. And this is hugely important. For example, we are the only OpenStack product in the market today that is certified to run Red Hat Enterprise Linux and Microsoft Windows as fully supported guest operating systems. And this is because Red Hat has bilateral certifications with Microsoft to certify their Windows operating system to our platform with full driver support across the Microsoft ecosystem. And of course, Red Hat supports our own Enterprise Linux software. So even as you compare other OpenStack offerings, whether in open source or from a product standpoint, the enterprise workloads, even just starting with the 2 guest operating systems of Windows and Red Hat Enterprise Linux, all the way up to the thousands of ISV applications that people want to bring to the cloud, these are only certified to run on Red Hat's OpenStack platform. And this is because of the engineering work that we do with our partners to bring those capabilities. Now, this is just a representative sample of some of those more than 140 companies who have joined Red Hat's partner program around our OpenStack platform. And you have very large vendors from Intel and Cisco and IBM, all the way even to competitors such as VMware. VMware has certified their NSX software-defined networking solutions against our OpenStack platform, all the way to startups at the forefront of big data, such as Hortonworks working with Hadoop and so on. And so all these different types of workloads, people have been certifying to run on top of our OpenStack platform. And this is hugely important because if you go back to the second thing that I spoke about strategically in terms of what we are doing around OpenStack, it's not just to take the leadership position in open source, but it's to build an enterprise-grade product and an enterprise-grade distribution around OpenStack that you can deploy for production use cases. And one of the most important aspects of having an enterprise-grade product is what is the ecosystem that you can depend upon when you deploy OpenStack with Red Hat. We want to make sure that our customers, when they deploy OpenStack into production, they can count on the fact that they can work with their hardware vendor of choice, that they can run their applications of choice in OpenStack, and that the tools that they want to use work with OpenStack. The only way to guarantee that works is to certify it to a productized version. And this is what we have been enabling and what we have been leading around the industry. No one else has built an ecosystem like this around OpenStack the way that Red Hat has. So as we take a look at what we have been doing around OpenStack and around cloud computing in general, our overall focus is how do we build an open hybrid cloud? And enterprises are moving towards a very comprehensive cloud architecture as well. It's going to take several years to get there, but enterprises are all moving towards implementing infrastructure as a service capabilities, platform as a service capabilities to bring applications and developers into the cloud, being able to bring management across that whole set of use cases and to bring the applications themselves into the cloud. OpenStack is one of the pillars that we are building upon for that overall foundation. But our open hybrid cloud architecture and strategy goes beyond OpenStack. And so this is why, in addition to taking the leadership in OpenStack in the open source community, in addition to bringing a product to market and building a very strong ecosystem around the product, we are also integrating products such as Red Hat CloudForms and other capabilities such as Platform as a Service or storage into OpenStack, and also third-party technologies so that you can bring OpenStack and deploy it into existing IT architectures. And so this is our overall strategy around cloud computing and around OpenStack. How do we help enterprises build an OpenStack-based cloud end-to-end? And we provide everything that you need from a software standpoint to do that. How do we integrate that into existing environments so that whether you're building or working with Red Hat or with third-party technologies, you can have an open hybrid cloud that integrates all these capabilities with the rest of your IT infrastructure. So with that, thank you very much, and I appreciate you coming.